Aries. If the pressure feels heavier than expected, do not choose on impulse. Mars is activating words, exchanges, and your immediate environment, so the choice cannot stay automatic. This is a small scene, but not a harmless one. A tiny gesture can decide how much space you give habit. The comfortable choice looks minor. The price shows up once you have already said yes. It is not the anger that is dangerous today. It is the fast gesture you make so you do not have to feel exposed. Not everything that comes close deserves the center of your day. Ask yourself one thing: are you doing this to choose better, or just to stop feeling the tension? Answer only to the facts. Leave tone, hurry, and provocation out of it. Move. Strip out the part born from haste, pride, or the need to close. Rewind it before you confuse relief with direction. Taurus. If the routine starts to irritate you, it is not a detail. It is the signal. Venus is activating daily work, method, and health, so the choice cannot stay automatic. Keep the scene tight. One shift, one sequence, one detail that holds everything together. It is a small thing, a turn, a checklist, a gesture you skip because it feels too technical. Skipping the detail looks harmless. Then that is exactly where you lose clarity. Routine sends the bill when you treat precision like bureaucracy. Skip the boring piece, and tomorrow routine will present it back with interest. Taurus, peace that costs too much is not stability. It is a cage with good furniture. Are you skipping a detail, or sabotaging the sequence that keeps you clear? The strong move is to respect the detail nobody sees. Fix one step, one shift, one sequence. Do not open anything else. Move, put the small piece back in place before you do anything larger. Rewind it when the easy gesture finally seems innocent. Gemini. Gemini has a narrow window today. Wait too long, and it turns into noise. Today, the boundary is not a shutdown. It is the shape that keeps a useful signal from evaporating and taking over everything. Pluto is touching the identity-body-presence axis. The point is not more control, but seeing what controls you. This is a threshold that makes no drama. You know it by the fact that it asks for attention before it offers comfort. A good moment does not need to convince you. It only needs to find you awake enough to use the useful signal before it fades. The real risk is not failing in a big way. It is letting the good margin slip away, because you waited for a respectable amount of certainty. For Gemini, the day improves when understanding becomes a decision you can actually see. If you do not give that signal a body, tomorrow you may remember it as a signal and not as a choice. Move, write the route in one line, then protect the first concrete step. Send it to whoever risks missing the opening today for the sake of one more guarantee. Cancer. Today the opportunity is hidden inside the choice you kept postponing. This is not theory. A professional margin is touching the way you protect time, desire, boundaries, or dignity. Neptune moving across the career role public direction axis opens listening, but it does not excuse ignoring concrete signs. It is a quiet passage, the kind that rewards the person who does not confuse caution with sleep. For Cancer, protecting everyone becomes expensive when you lose your center at the one point that matters. If you wait for guarantees, a professional margin becomes noise. If you act with measure, it becomes direction. The real question is whether you want the movement you keep talking about, or only the comfort of imagining it. If the real possibility stays only intuition, the day keeps the opening but loses your presence. Move. Do not open 3 scenarios. Confirm the small step that keeps the best possibility alive. Tomorrow will care that you saw the opening, not that you waited for the perfect sign. Leo. Control looks elegant today, but it may be covering a very simple fear. The knot is not huge, but it is precise. An alibi that has lost its polish decides how clear you stay inside the scene. Last quarter, the identity-body-presence axis gets sharper when you stop treating it like a detail. This is the moment when the problem is no longer the world around you, but the comfortable version you keep telling yourself. If an alibi that has lost its polish stings, it may not be attacking you. It may be removing the makeup from an old defense. The stake is to name honestly the point you would rather keep explaining away. For Leo, the day rewards you if you stay whole without turning everything into a performance of presence. If you keep covering that defense, the day can feel calm while it decides for you. Move. Do not react just to avoid feeling. Pause long enough to choose from the more honest side. Send it to whoever needs a small truth that is still whole. Virgo. If clarity is costing you recovery, do not force it. Repair the right point. If the theme keeps returning, maybe it does not need more attention, just a different decision. Saturn will not leave the intimacy shared resources transformation field vague. It asks for a boundary you can see in your actions too. A quieter room, one notification left outside, a body that stops negotiating. The soft choice today is not escape. Clarity that depends on recovery gives you back your clarity before pressure decides for you. If you keep treating recovery as optional, the day can end with more presence lost than real results gained. For Virgo, true precision does not avoid choice. It makes it cleaner. Forcing may look like strength, but today it risks draining the very part you need. Move. Do less in the right place so the important choice stays yours. Mark the limit before fatigue has to shout. Libra. For Libra, the breakthrough may be a short sentence said at the right time. The revelation here is sober. Just watch how a small but decisive gesture changes your place in the scene. Saturn is bringing reality into the relationships, agreements, confrontation field. A promise only matters if it holds up in practice. This is the moment when you realize the problem does not need better analysis anymore, but a gesture that reduces it. Pressure becomes an ally when you use it to turn a small but decisive gesture into something testable. For Libra, kindness matters more when it does not erase measure. The danger is staying loyal to an orderly version of the problem, while life is asking for a gesture. The price is not making the wrong move. It is becoming very good at explaining why you did not make one. Move. Take the smallest piece that creates real movement, and do it before theory returns. Use it as a clean cut before your mind opens more exits. Scorpio. Today, value is decided in a sentence you cannot leave vague. The scene splits into two thresholds. One protects comfort, the other protects what actually matters. With Saturn insisting on work, method, and health, the weak point should not be hidden. It needs reinforcement or release. It is a small promise that can become an emotional contract if you leave it without edges. If nobody names the bill, a negotiation that wants clear edges can turn into the usual advantage of the person who pushes harder. The risk is accepting the wrong measure today and then having to defend an already eroded boundary tomorrow. For Scorpio, strength is not confusing control with truth. If you leave that negotiation vague, someone will use the gap as an advantage. Move. Separate the wish for peace from the concrete cost. Then decide which one you can actually sustain. Rewind it when a small request starts to feel too familiar. Sagittarius. Today, care is not generic softness. It is a practical choice. Do not wait for a perfect entrance. Cross the point where pressure that needs to be taken off can finally take shape. Pluto is bringing intensity to words, exchanges, and your immediate environment. Using it well means seeing the knot, not dominating it out of pride. It is a quieter room, one notification left outside, a body that stops negotiating. When you remove pressure in the right place, that pressure gives you more clarity than another display of endurance would. For Sagittarius, freedom today comes from giving measure to the right point. The stake is not spending all your energy keeping alive a form that does not deserve it. If you keep forcing that pressure, the bill can arrive as the wrong tone, an impulsive answer, or fatigue running the whole day. Move. Remove the gesture that drains you before adding one that makes you feel impressive. Keep it close. Clarity returns when you stop pulling on everything. Capricorn. Today, real care has a boundary, not an excuse. The final scene does not reward perfection. It rewards the point where you gave shape to a reserve of energy to protect. Saturn is closing the space for excuses around home, roots, and your emotional base. Only what you can truly sustain remains. It is a quiet room, one notification left outside, a body that stops negotiating. Recovery is not a decorative pause. It is the condition for not handing the day over to the most tired part of you. For Capricorn, the day asks for structure in service of truth, not just endurance. The risk is making it to evening while functioning on the outside, but making decisions from an emptied center. If you keep forcing that reserve of energy to protect, the bill can arrive as the wrong tone, an impulsive answer, or fatigue running the whole day. Move. Remove the gesture that drains you before adding one that makes you feel impressive. Save it for the moment you want to call weakness, what is actually recovery. Aquarius. Attraction matters today only if it leaves your measure intact, not if it forces you to chase. Ask for one simple proof. If a spark that demands truth is real, it has to survive a concrete gesture, not just a feeling. Uranus is making the desire, creativity, pleasure field less predictable. The task is to stay awake without becoming impulsive. It is a chat, a look, a pause where you realize whether you want contact or only reassurance. The emotional side becomes a don't today only if a spark that demands truth does not take your center while it lights you up. For Aquarius, the day improves when vision stops floating and starts making an impact. A clean bond does not need you to betray your boundary in order to seem open. If the emotional scene lights you up but shrinks you, the bill arrives in the form of your dignity. Move, drop the seductive line and leave the true one, even if it is shorter. Save it before you call chemistry something that is actually taking your space. Pisces. Today the sky does not reward waiting for safety. It rewards giving shape to the first move. The clean part is simple. Know where a work move that can no longer be postponed ends, and where your choice begins. Neptune is moving through the resources money value axis, increasing intuition, but also the temptation not to choose. It is a door that has been still for days, and now does not ask for more understanding. It asks for a measurable act. The useful gesture does not have to be huge. It only has to keep a work move that can no longer be postponed from running the scene. The stake is getting out of the mental loop. If you move nothing, the block stays respectable. For Pisces, sensitivity only helps when it stops protecting the indefinite. The real loss is training yourself once again to endure well what should have been moved. Move, choose the gesture that reduces the noise, and do it without opening 3 explanations. Note the gesture, not the explanation.